Hey, what's going down? It's your favorite clown around town, playing my prerogative like Bobby Brown. This is BroncoJuggalo, and I am here with another Wild Eye releasing review for you. Today, I am doing the 2014 but released by Wild Eye in 2019 film First Person Shooter. Bow. This fucking movie was awesome. I have no cons, guys. Not one for this movie. Directed by Andres Lutzelswab. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but hey, it's a German name for a German movie, right? Cool. In this movie, you are the main character. Your wife's been kidnapped and being held hostage in a hospital? Let's call it a hospital. Place where a bunch of mad scientists have been cooking up zombies. And you gotta free her. You gotta fight your way through zombies. You gotta fight your way through, guards. You gotta fight your way through mad scientists. Sounds kind of like a video game? Well, that's because it is a movie shaped like a video game. In my opinion, this movie succeeds where the movies like Stay Alive, which I did like, don't quite pull it off. This movie pulls it off. It also pulls it off where movies like Hardcore Henry didn't pull it off. This is a true first-person experience, in my opinion. This is a must-watch for any horror gamer fan. Now, if you are not into video games, you may not dig this film. Myself, personally, I loved it. I think it's a great movie, great innovation, and a great concept. I had lots of pros with this film, guys, and I just watched this movie last night, and it's so fresh in my mind. I'm doing this without any cue cards, any notes, anything. First things I want to talk about. I love the concept of this movie. As I said, it is a true first-person experience. You know how when you play a first-person shooter, and, you're behind the camera, and you got your guns out or whatever, but you're not shooting anybody. You're just kind of running along or walking. Your arms kind of move like this, or they kind of turn the gun and look at it here or there, rack it once in a while, things like that. Well, this movie does that. This movie actually does that. The guy who plays you in the movie does an amazing job. And I really feel like this is a person who loved video games, that knew video games, that studied video games. The entire production, to me, feels like it was a passion project by people who loved first-person horror video games. And I think they did an excellent job. So I'm going to read off a list of names here because I couldn't pronounce them all. And I just want to get them right, or close to right as I can. But these are all the people that starred in this movie. Stephen Waite, Rob Banks, Inez Klein, Jürgen Suderlin, Sasha Strack, Atlanta Lutzelswab, which I'm assuming is related to the director, Tobias Winkler, Hans Lutzelswab, which I'm also assuming is related to the director, Akeem Lutzelswab, Sebastian Kettner, and Andres Lutzelswab, who also directed the film and wrote the film, by the way. I love all the video game Easter eggs in this movie. Usually, I'm pretty down on CGI in these movies, especially in the lower budget horror films. I don't like the CGI. The CGI in this movie really works because what they did is they made it look like late 90s, early 2000s, maybe up to 2010 game graphics. Like the blood looked like it came right out of Resident Evil, the video game, not the movie. And, you had like the entire setup was set up like a video game. The beginning of the movie, you got a menu, and then you go through the menu, and it's animated. It looks really cool. And then it transitions into the game, or into the movie, with the other characters. You have these really cool, terrific-looking bad guys, zombies. It was like, not just normal, Dawn of the Dead zombies. In like Resident Evil, you would have these weird zombie creatures that would have like, weird helmets and things like that. You had stuff like that in this movie. You had a weird zombie clown. You had guys who had barbed wire wrapped around their eyes. You had all different kinds of cool things in this movie that I really did enjoy. This movie takes movies like Resident Evil. Now, movies like, I'm not saying it's like that because personally I didn't think the first Resident Evil was all that good. But it takes video game based films and it actually does a decent job in representing them, even though this one is not based on any particular video game. Something else I love about this, with Wild Eye titles, sometimes the cover's always great, by the way, always great with Wild Eye. Sometimes the covers are better than the films on a rare occasion. This cover is this movie to a T. This is the character that is you in the movie. This is what he looks like. These are the weapons he uses. He has the chainsaw. He has the Uzi. He has the double shotgun. He's got the small German pistol. He has axes and knives and crowbars and all the cool stuff, you know? If this would have been a slasher, I mean, it's really not a slasher. There's a first-person shooter. There's a killer that's going around, but you're the killer. You're the one, but you're also the hero. So it's not a slasher. If this would have been a slasher, I would have done this past week's theme. This is an awesome video game style movie. I definitely recommend this movie, guys. I can't recommend it enough. The imagination, the concept, the pacing involved even. At times it is paced a little bit slower, but it's paced that way because it feels like you're playing a video game. You know, when you're exploring through a hospital or something, one of these horror video games, that's what this feels like, and it's done so well. It's like this game is immersing you, say, in like Resident Evil or something like that. It really does a good job. It does a much better job than the Resident Evil movies did, I'll tell you that. It does a much better job than the Doom movie did, especially the Rock Doom movie. I really do like the Doom Annihilation, as we talked about, but I just had a blast with this. I thought this movie was so awesome. I love all the Duke Nukem and also Ash Easter eggs and tributes. There's a lot of quotes from Duke Nukem, from Ash. There's a lot of dialogue that our main character is speaking. And what's really cool about it is when you see a character talking, like when you're talking to somebody, they're talking back to you, it's got that video game voiceover effect. It doesn't look like it's actually coming out of their mouths. They're just kind of there and they're talking, and it feels like a video game. I loved that. I thought that was an amazing thing. I thought it was so cool. And maybe I'm just, easily amazed by things like that, but I thought this movie just succeeded where so many others have tried and failed. And I loved it, guys. I really did. This may be one of my favorite Wild Eye titles to date. I definitely recommend this. This is from the Wild Eye Raw and Extreme line. I want to thank Wild Eye for sending me this movie. It was an absolute blast. I definitely think you need to check this out, because if you are into horror video games or first-person shooter video games or horror movies, I think you're going to love this one. Check this out, guys. It's called First Person Shooter. It is from Wild Eye Releasing, and it's fucking amazing. This is BroncoJuggalo saying peace. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the music is fucking awesome too. Awesome score. Really feels like an awesome horror video game. Once again, peace.
Sometimes you just gotta ignore your enemies. Sometimes you just gotta make them bleed. I've headed up to here with all the fake shit. Fake friends huddled up, that's a snake pit. King Kong about to rumble on some ape shit. Stab you with some scissors.